And before we begin, I just want to, of course, start with a land acknowledgement. I'm tuning in today from my home, which is also on these traditional lands, but Royal Roads University campus is located on the traditional lands of the Lekwungen peoples, the Songhees and the Esquimalt First Nations. It's, of course, with gratitude that we live and learn and work here on these lands where the past, present, and future of Indigenous and non-Indigenous students, faculty, and staff come together. So again, super grateful to be here today on these lands and with all of you. Okay, and of course, the reason that we're here, we're going to talk about a very exciting program and graduate certificates, the Master of Arts in Executive and Organizational Coaching. I'm joined by some fabulous folks, Dr. Zoë MacLeod, who's the Dean of Partnerships and Professional Learning. Zoe, it's nice to see you. And also Carolyn Conlon, who is a faculty in the program, also Bridget from the program as well. And I believe my colleague Lisa Murray is also here from Enrollment Services. So wonderful team of folks here today, and we'll hear from them just shortly. But before that, I will just take us through a quick agenda just so we know what to expect from the session today. We'll do a welcome, of course, that's what I'm doing now, and a Royal Roads overview if you're not yet kind of familiar with us. We'll talk a little bit about the program structure with Zoe and Carolyn. Any questions that you have as well, a little bit of insights on that. And then the application process and requirements, if you are thinking of applying, of course, we hope that you are. And any questions as well. Like I said, those can be posed in the chat at any point as we move throughout here. Okay, again, if you're not familiar with Royal Roads, I just want to highlight some of our values. This is a little bit about kind of who we are as an institution. So Royal Roads really values our real world classroom. So really taking insights, again, from things that are happening in the world now. Also, professors who know your name. As a student, a current student again at Royal Roads, I really can attest that this is true, that you really get to know your professors, you get to know your classmates on that first name basis. It's a really lovely experience when you're in a program here. Again, as I mentioned, learning based on life. So taking those real world insights and applying them in the classroom. Of course, we see life as a qualification too. So this is highlighted really by our flexible admissions policies. We value your work experience, your life experience, and all of the things beyond academia that you bring into the classroom. Many of our programs also operate on a cohort model. So we build those connections for life, really, and you use them as you move throughout your career and your life. And you can really lean and rely on those people. And we were built differently. We've been doing our online and blended learning styles for really 30 years now. We used to say 25, now it's 30 years, 30 plus years. So we were really built differently from day one with those learning styles too. Okay, this fancy slide with the transition. We're also proud, of course, to be an Ashoka U certified changemaker campus. This is a designation that we have, only one of roughly 5 in Canada. And it's a designation for campuses that focuses really on social innovation and campuses that are around the world with a track record of that social innovation and the change-making approach. And we really try to apply that change-making in all that we do here at Royal Roads. Okay, and at this point, Zoe, I will pass it to you to learn a little bit more about the programs.
Thank you so much, Ariana, and welcome. Thank you all for your interest in the Master of Arts in Executive and Organizational Coaching and maybe some graduate certificates as well. As Ariana mentioned, my name is Zoë MacLeod. My role at the university is Dean of Partnerships and Professional Learning, which houses this program, a whole lot more, including a suite of graduate certificates, diplomas, professional and applied programs, Indigenous and community programming, continuing education and language training. There's a lot going on in our shop. And it's likely our paths have crossed if you've completed the graduate certificate in executive coaching. And if so, it's nice to see you again. And while we're getting started, it would be great to know if you have completed the certificate program, or an advanced course with us. If you are willing to put that in the chat, that would be fantastic. So now I'm going to talk about why a master's degree in this area specifically. So coaching as a profession has matured pretty rapidly over the last decade, and formal academic pathways haven't always kept pace. At Royal Roads, we've spent years listening to practicing coaches, employers, our own alumni to understand really what was missing. And we consistently heard The graduate certificate is so amazing. It is a powerful foundation. It is life-changing, and it only scratches the surface. What can we do more of? They wanted more depth, more theory that they could actually use, more exposure to seasoned practitioners, more opportunity to explore context, complexity, systems level change, and importantly, more space to contribute to research in a field that is still actively being shaped. So this master's program actually responds directly to that need. It was designed for coaches who want to grow their capacity to influence and support meaningful change, and whether that's within organizations, communities, or broader systems. And so if you decide that you want to join us, you'll deepen and refine your practice. You're going to engage with leading scholars and experienced coaches, whether they're in your cohort or you're learning from them in the classroom. And you're going to learn in a flexible environment that allows you to integrate your learning with real world work. Much of the model and values that Ariana spoke about as well, we really try to model. And just as importantly, this degree creates space for applied research. So you're not only drawing from the field, but contributing to it. And we know that in a field like this that is continually becoming more professionalized, it's important for us to be able to do that. So the program itself is for coaches who see themselves not just as practitioners, but as change makers. We are already a recognized leader in graduate level executive coaching in Canada. And for years, we've been educating coaches and leaders who work in complex organizations and societal contexts. And I noticed that somebody had put in the chat that they were a grad as well, and there might be a few more of you online. I had the fortune of welcoming 43 new students to the executive coaching program just yesterday. And it's just an amazing opportunity to see what's going on in the world and why people are coming and drawn to this profession. I would also suggest that this program is designed specifically for professional and executive coaches. And so many of them really come to us with the desire to strengthen their expertise, expand their practice, and work more effectively with complexity, change in human systems. So the context we're operating in matters. Organizations and communities are navigating unprecedented levels of uncertainty, disruption, and competing priorities. I don't know if any of you saw Mark Carney's speech yesterday, but I was pretty proud to be Canadian. And the challenges we face today, though there's many ahead. They're not all going to be solved with technical fixes or AI or familiar approaches. We need new ways to work together. So, we are urgently needing people who can hold space for complexity, ask better questions, support others to think, to lead, to act differently. And coaching offers a powerful way to do that work. So you're supporting individuals, teams, and organizations to build clarity, resilience, capacity for meaningful change. It's a pretty exciting space to play in. And so this program actually creates the conditions for that level of practice. And we'll talk a little bit about the structure. We don't want to get too much into the weeds here, but the master's program itself is a 36 credit degree. It's designed to be modular and flexible and realistic for working professionals. So if you're coming in right from the beginning, it starts with the graduate certificate in executive coaching, and that serves as the formal entry point. From there, you can move into advanced coaching courses where you deepen your learning in areas such as coaching psychology and ethics and evaluation. And one of the strengths of this design is its stackability. So the 9 credit graduate certificate stands on its own and provides a clear pathway into the master's and can be built on over time. So for those who aren't quite ready to commit to the full MA, you can also complete additional certificates before continuing. And that's often how we see people approach it. If you've already completed core or elective courses through the Advanced Coaching Practices certificate, then we work with you individually to develop a personalized completion plan. The degree currently can be completed through one of two options: an applied project with coursework or a thesis route. And that really depends on your interests and goals and research and thesis desire. So over to the next slide. We'll talk about the actual graduate certificate itself and some of the other structure components. So the program begins with the certificate in executive coaching, which is where all students start, unless you've completed accredited coach training elsewhere, and I can talk more about this as we go. This portion, the graduate certificate in executive coaching, typically takes about 6 to 7 months or 7 to 8 months, depending on where holidays fall. And it opens with a blended course that combines online pre-work, a 6-day immersive residency, either virtually or on campus, depending on which offering you choose, and then concludes with a virtual capstone at the end of the certificate. Between those bookends, you complete 2 distance courses and engage in significant applied learning and practice throughout the program. It's a lot of moving parts and a lot of practice and applied coaching skills. It's really about building and refining your core coaching capabilities, developing that confidence, that competence, and professional presence as a coach. And once you've completed the graduate certificate, you can then continue on and apply into the master's and seamlessly transfer those credits into the degree. The next offering is the advanced coaching practices. So similarly, we've created an advanced coaching practices certificate for those who want to continue deepening their learning, but may not be planning to pursue a master's degree at this time. So the certificate is made up of 3 advanced courses, fully online courses that are shared with the MA. Students in this pathway are engaging with the same curriculum and learning alongside and with the master's students. For some, the certificate stands on its own as a meaningful next step, but for others, it can serve as a bridge, keeping options open should they decide that they want to come into the master's program in the future. And so that leads to the completion component, which is on the next slide. Thank you. And as you transition into the master's degree, you'll complete 5 core courses that are designed to deepen your practice, expand your perspective, and strengthen your impact as a coach. And a central feature of the MA is the Transformative Practice Coaching for Global Impact course. This is the residency component and serves as a moment to reconnect with your learning, re-energize your practice, engage with inspiring thought leaders in the field. And Carolyn is going to talk a little bit about what that residency experience looks like as well. And you could do that now, Carolyn, if that's
Sure.
easier. Sure.
Yep, happy to do that. Thanks, Zoe. So, the intention for the course, which is the Transformative Practice course, is to connect people. It's the entryway into the experience with your fellow learners. And we have some beautiful speakers lined up, inspiring speakers. Our intention is that you leave with a sense of your own higher purpose and a direction for the research that you plan to engage with. So, in addition to guest speakers, there will be interactive activities within the week. We've kind of themed the days to look at planetary health, relational healing, global impact, organizational systems, to name the key ones, the headlines. And as well, there are some assignments. One that is going to be personal, your personal kind of statement about who you are and what you're doing here. And a lovely team assignment where you each take on, or your team takes on, a global issue and how you see coaching addressing it. To me, the world that we live in, as Zoe described it earlier, the political world, the values war, if you will, is an indication that coaching's time has come. Our leaders, our clients, are engaging with these issues, ethical issues and values issues. Who better to support them than a coach? So, what inspires us? Tammy and I love this course, and what inspires us is to see where the students take it. So we have the opportunity, I've had several opportunities to listen to the students as they present their research at the end of the program. And they're addressing issues that matter to them, but also matter to the world. And we're going to invite some of them in to meet our students in the next round. So it's, to me, an oasis in a world that is continuing to add pressure everywhere you look. And so that's our intention with the residency. It is an oasis of reflection, planning, and commitment to making a difference.
Amazing. Thank you, Carolyn. And we will have an opportunity to ask more questions about the program and the residency at the end. And so I just thought that that was a good segue. To continue on, the core courses are taken in a structured sequence, and so you'll see them in order there. The applied project route combines additional coursework, so you have a chance to take some additional courses or electives, and this option is ideal for those who want to integrate learning directly into their professional context. And the thesis route supports a deeper scholarly inquiry and allows up to a year for research and academic writing, contributing to the growing body of knowledge in coaching. Both pathways are rigorous, supported, and highly individualized, and you'll receive guidance and appropriate processes to figure out if this is which one is the right for you. And certainly as you refine your focus and select topics that matter for you and your practice. And with earlier stages in the program, prior learning matters. If you've already completed core or elective courses through the Advanced Coaching Practices Certificate or have relevant coach training from elsewhere, we'll also work with you on individualized completion plans, so you're not starting from scratch. The other important piece to note is the ICF accreditation, the graduate certificate in executive coaching. So the first 9 credits of the master's degree is accredited by the International Coaching Federation. Royal Roads is an accredited coach training provider, and the certificate is recognized as a level 2 program. And what this means in practical terms is that the program meets the ICF's rigorous standards for coach education, and the subsequent courses also can provide continuing coach education hours, so supporting you to maintain your ICF credential as you continue your coaching practice. And as the ICF continues to evolve its accreditation model, this program remains aligned with those requirements, and we monitor that closely to ensure continued recognition and value for students. So now I'll turn it back to, we'll skip the faculty insights because I already went there with Carolyn. We'll turn it back to Ariana, and she'll talk about next steps and the application process. But before we do, do not hesitate to reach out, ask questions in the chat, reach out to me directly. Happy to talk about whether the program is the right fit for you or what's going on for you and how that works. And we'll pass it back to Ariana.
Yeah, thank you so much, Zoe and Carolyn. That was really wonderful to just listen to and absorb that. So I'll talk a little bit about how to apply if you are starting your application or thinking about it, just some tidbits for you to consider as you embark on that journey. Again, as a student of Royal Roads myself, familiar with all these steps, so I speak from personal experience as well now. So standard admission is something that we have, of course, to bring you into the program, but we also have flexible admissions, which I'll touch on just in a moment after this. So for our standard admissions requirements, that looks like the completion of a 4-year or comparable undergraduate degree from a recognized post-secondary institution. And normally at least 7 years of full-time relevant work experience with 3 years at a management level and also increasing level of responsibility. So that's kind of one way to get into the program as far as the requirements go. Then I'll just flip slides to flexible admission. So if you have either some undergraduate education or a lot of work experience, you could possibly be considered for flexible admission. So applicants would normally require at least 7 years of extensive relevant work experience and some post-secondary education. So again, as I'm sure I've alluded to, that looks a little bit different kind of for everybody. So it is assessed on a case-by-case basis. So when you submit your application, this is not something you choose. If you want to do standard or flexible admission, this is just something that's adjudicated as appropriate based on your situation. I know my wonderful friend and colleague Lisa is also in the chat. So again, if you have any questions that are specific to you and you want to chat with somebody, Enrollment Services is a great place to start, and I'll touch on that shortly at the end of these slides here. Some key dates. So again, if you are looking at starting for 2026, the application deadline is in March. So we have a little bit of time, but there's really no time like the present to start kind of gathering your documents, thinking about going on this journey if it's something you're considering. The program starts June 8th, 2026, so it'll be here before you know it if you are looking at applying. And how to apply, there is an online application fee of about 139.43 Canadian. And then we ask for some supporting documents. So things like official transcripts if you have previous post-secondary, also a personal statement or statement of intent. This is something I always describe as like a cover letter if you're applying to a job or a role. Really kind of going into what do you bring to the program? What do you hope to get out of the program? Some of your goals, maybe things in your application that you'd like to highlight for our adjudicators. And again, full details on how to do that is all on ruralroads.ca, our website. A detailed resume as well. So going into detail about like your work experience, life experience, volunteerism, all sorts of things there on that resume. A writing sample as well, and then 2 letters of reference, which can either be academic in nature or professional in nature from your workplace. If applicable as well, there's also some details on English language proficiency, again, found on our website, and I'll send a follow-up email with those links as well. Okay, and tuition, always a good thing to highlight. There are rates for domestic and international. So you'll see them on the screen there. Domestic is about 37,000, international about 48,000. And again, full details on payment schedules and different things are all on the program page at ruralroads.ca. And some services that are available to you. So if you are looking at things like loans, bursaries, scholarships, other awards, things like student research scholarships, emergency funding, sometimes life happens. Those are all, again, financial aid and award. They're nicely laid out on that page. You can really filter through based on program, your situation, maybe groups that you apply to. So it's a very nicely laid out page. Of course, my friends in enrollment services, I know Lisa's in the chat. Thank you, Lisa, for putting all those helpful links in there. They can be reached at learn.more@ruralroads.ca, and there's some phone numbers there for either local or toll-free for North America if you want to give them a call anytime. There's also a link to set up a one-on-one meeting that I'll send out after the presentation is done. And they really help you narrow down your program options. They can connect you with program heads, students, faculty, alumni, anybody you might want to speak to. It's nice to have that kind of one-on-one conversation before really embarking on the journey of your master's or grad certificate. So highly recommend meeting with them or sending them an email, giving them a call. They can help you answer any questions there. Okay, and I see the chat is doing some things, so I will refer back. I'm not sure what has been answered yet here. Let me just scroll. Da, da, da. Okay, see, we have a question from Mark. You mentioned the program is designed specifically for professional and executive coaches. What level of experience are you looking for? Is there a minimum? Is it appropriate for newer coaches that have been coaching for 2 to 3 years, that also have been working 10 years working in management? Zoe.
Yeah, I'm happy to answer that. I see that Lisa has provided some context there too. As mentioned earlier, it's sort of a 2-tiered process, right? So if you're coming in right at the beginning, of course, it's designed for brand new coaches because you haven't done any coaching perhaps or coaching education yet. So it would start with the graduate certificate in executive coaching courses. That's the first start. And so once you've gone through that program, then you are now an executive coach. And so you're already in that process and you've had some coaching experience and you're not new. You're still new, but you're not new. And so that gives you the opportunity to then move into the master's program. So understanding coaching, having some coach training is a requirement for moving into the second phase of the master's program, if you will. So if you didn't do the graduate certificate, but you've done coach training elsewhere, then we can have a conversation about that. If you really want to start from the beginning and you haven't had coach training, then you would start at the graduate certificate entry point. Hope that's helpful, Mark. And maybe also, I think that might address, is it Jen? Was it Jen? I saw another question there.
Yeah, I think there was a subsequent train of questions
Yes.
of the similar nature, so that's perfect. That's great. Just see here.
I saw another question there, Andrea. There's definitely opportunity for looking at credit equivalencies for courses. If you're coming in and you've done some other coach training or you're interested in is there a possibility for using something as an elective? We would have a conversation about that and see what level and how many hours are equivalent. So there's definitely possibility there, and we do that.
Okay, just looking through the chat here. Started the program once before but didn't complete it. I want to pick up where I left off. How do I find out what's needed now? How do I get
That's a
those
great
details?
question. Yes, I think that has come to our office. You'll see Bridget nodding there, but we can certainly get the program office is the best place to start there, and we figure out how to help you figure that pathway out or pathway back in.
And what is the total length of the program? 13 months with an applied project or 19 months with a thesis?
Again, it will depend on where you come in. And so if you're coming in if you've already done coach training and you're coming in at the sort of phase 2, step 2, probably going to take you about a year and a half to finish the program, give or take. It takes about 6 or maybe a little bit more, maybe 8 to 9 months to finish the core courses, and then you move into your stream. So depending on the completion option you choose, you have a year to do your thesis. The other one is project and courses, and so it will just depend on how the schedule lines up for the project and the 2 courses.
Awesome. And then Peter's asking, how much does the graduate certificate cost? I believe those costs are on the website. The exact figure escapes me, but Zoe, I don't know if you know that off the top of your
I
head.
don't have it handy, but one of the things I did want to mention when Ariana mentioned the tuition there is that if you've done the graduate certificate or other coach training, we reduce the tuition by the credit amount that you would not need to take. So, it looks like it could be very expensive if you're starting from scratch. It's an amazing commitment and profession to engage with. But if you've done some other work already, it can soften that blow. And also, if you are coming in from the beginning, you do the graduate certificate and you do that piece. And so it also gives you a bit of a flexibility in payment timing as well. I think if anybody hasn't already answered it, it's somewhere between, oh, there it is, $11,149. You got it. Thanks, Lisa.
Great. And then Mark, yeah, I think that's been answered. Mark, if you've done executive coach training with another organization, do you still need to complete the graduate certification as part of the master's? I think it depends.
Yeah, it depends. So if you have completed an ICF accredited coach training program, either at level 1 or level 2, then we have a pathway for you to come in so that you don't have to start the graduate certificate. You don't have to do coaching all over again. We trust that you've done some of that work. So we would have a conversation with you about that and what pathway is the best fit.
Awesome. Okay. Let me see here. Few questions. I have the CEC program that I'm in finishes in April. Can I apply in March? Do I have to pay the fee? I submitted reference letters in fall of 2025. Can this be waived for this application? That sounds like a great question for Lisa, perhaps. Yeah, Zoe, I don't know if you have anything to add, but that's
Yeah, well, Lisa and I have been having lots of conversations about some of this. There's some
great.
questions for our admissions team here as well.
Perfect.
I think you can apply. Nothing's stopping you from applying. It's just what all of the pieces are. So I think we actually do, you probably don't need to do reference letters and those kinds of things. So we would look at that depending on how far away, you are as a student. The application fee, I don't have the answer to that. I think at the moment you have to pay the application fee because you wouldn't be an alum. I'm not quite sure how that works, but we can get those answers, Ron, and figure them out for you. Don't hesitate to reach out, and we'll figure out all those answers unless they're being answered.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks, Zoe. If I previously, similar kind of vein, if I previously completed my MAL at RRU, which I entered in flexible admission, would it be given that I qualify for the MAEC, or would I have to go through all the flexible admit hoops again? I think if it's a different program, you may have to, but yeah, I don't know. Anything to
It
add?
is a good question. I'm not sure I have the answer for that too. I imagine if you've already done the master's program at Royal Roads, you understand how things work, and we would just figure out where to from here. If you didn't have an undergrad, and again, this is the higher level degree might qualify you for not flexible admission, and we can work through that for you. And James, it would be great to see you in the program if you're coming through from the MA leadership program. So again, some of those little things we can figure out together. I did notice there was another question about the reverse. If you've done some credit from the MAEC, there is a process whereby there's an opportunity for joint or both options. We've done that before. So you can look at how much you've completed in leadership if you're going to do the leadership degree and how much overlap there would be from the executive coaching degree and figure out what more you would need to do in order to get both. So there's those opportunities as well.
Yeah. Awesome. And I think one last question that I see here from Tamara is the tuition reduced for those who hold the graduate certificate? I believe so. Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah, so that's the kind of two-tiered process. If you've done the certificate already, then your tuition would be reduced by the number of credits that you've already completed.
yeah. Awesome. Okay. I think we endeavored to answer all the questions. I don't think I've missed anything. If anybody has any other burning questions, or again, Lisa has been super helpful and been answering questions in the chat. Or if you want to email her directly, again, the email is learn.more@royalroads.ca, more generally, or you can email Lisa, and I'll include all that in my follow-up. But Zoe, any last things to say to wrap us up here?
No, well, just thank you all for your support on the call, for one thing, and helping me answer questions. Can certainly, don't hesitate to reach out. Please ask questions. It's the foundation of this program. So, please keep asking, and we'll see what we can do and make sure that you get the opportunity to join us. It's a pretty exciting field. I spend a lot of time in the ICF, volunteer on a number of boards there. Lots of amazing things happening in this space. So thank you so much.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. There's one more question, sorry, from Andrea. Is there a formal team coaching portion of the MAEO?
Oh, that is a good question. It isn't formal in the sense that we align with the ICF and the accreditation or credential there. There is definitely introduction to team coaching, and we would talk about it through the program, but there isn't a formal team coaching portion. And the reason for that is because the ICF has pulled out an accreditation and credential. So it's just a big piece that we just don't have time to get into formally in the program as an equivalency, but we certainly talk about it, and you will learn some about it.
And you'll work in teams.
That too.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Okay. Well, thanks everyone. Take good care, and we hope we'll see you in the program soon. Bye, everyone.